Hey guys, I'm Kidron Cannon from Canon Wedding Photography. Today I'm going to be talking about the camera stabilizer that I use for filming, and it is the Devin Graham Signature Glidecam. So I'm going to be showing you what you get when you get one of these and how to set it up and balance it. So I had a DGS Glidecam for about 5 years, and I used and abused it. I went all over the world with it, and I got it wet too many times and just kind of destroyed the thing. So I emailed Glidecam, and they did send me this new Glidecam for free, and I told them I'd do some videos, but they have not paid me. They've not told me anything to say. Everything I'm going to say in this video is completely my opinion. So I really love these stabilizers. I've been using Glidecam products for years, and the Devin Graham Signature series is my favorite one that I've ever used. It's not an electronic stabilizer like a Ronin or a Crane or something like that. This is fully mechanical. There's no motors at all. And I've known a lot of filmmakers who've tried these before and just given up because they couldn't quite figure it out or it was too difficult. But I love these, and today I'm going to show you a very easy way to get set up and get it balanced within just a couple minutes, and you'll be ready to shoot. Alright, so let's get it open, take a look at what's in the case, and I'll show you how to balance it. Comes in this nice carrying case, really sturdy, keeps it very well protected. Alright, so in the case we have the telescoping pole right here with the handle attached, the gimbal attached to that. We have the base plate down here that it's going to all mount onto. We have all of the counterweights down here. For any size camera that you're going to have, you'll probably have enough weights for it. And then we have the quick release head that goes right on top. And then we have this little bag here. We have the little screws and nuts that mount the weights onto the base plate. This might look like a lot of stuff, but it's very easy. I'm going to show you how to get it balanced, and literally it just takes me a few minutes to get one of these balanced, so I'll show you how. Alright, so first we're going to get the base plate out, and then the number of weights that you put on it depends on the size of your camera, and it's very easy to put them on, so don't worry if you have to do it a couple times as you're figuring it out. But if you have a small camera, like a really light camera, like a mirrorless or like a small lens, you might not need any weights at all, or you might just need like one weight on each side. If you have a larger camera like I do, I'm using the Canon 1DX Mark II with a 24-70 lens and a Rode shotgun mic on top. So it's pretty heavy, and I use 4 weights on each side. But this thing will take, I think, either 6 or 8 weights on each side, and you could use like a Red or an Ari, like really big cameras. I've even used my C100 on it before. It'll handle a lot of weight. All right, so on my base plate, I'm going to get a couple of these screws on each side and the nuts that go with them, and I'm going to put 4 counterweights on each side. Alright, we've got the screws through, and now the counterweights. Like I said, I'm going to do 4 on each side. Pretty much most camera setups, you're going to want the same number of weights on both sides to keep it balanced. If you have like a really big lens or some funky situation, you might end up with a different number of weights on one side than the other, but for the most part, you're going to want the same number of weights on both sides. Alright, there's my 4 weights on the left side, and then I'm going to do 4 more weights on the other side. Alright, once you have those on, you're going to take the little nuts and screw those on to keep them in place. Very easy, just screw them on with your finger and your thumb. You don't need any tools or anything to set this up at all. And an interesting little tidbit here, back in the day as a counterweight, I actually used to use a GoPro with the tripod mount because it would thread onto these screws, and instead of using like, I think back then I was using like 3 weights on the back, 3 weights on the front, I would substitute the GoPro for a couple of the weights. And this was before I had a camera that did slow-mo, so I would film in slow-mo by balancing with a GoPro and filming on it at the same time as I was filming on like my 5D3 up top. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and a lot of variability and creative things that you can do with your setup. But here we go, we have our base plate with the 4 weights on it. That's the first step. I'll set that to the side for 1 second. And then we will grab our center pole, our telescoping pole with the gimbal attached. It does come off, but when you get it from Glidecam, it'll already be on there, but you can slide it right off if you need to, and it's not a big deal. But when you get it from Glidecam, it'll already be attached and mounted on there. All right, I usually like to slide the pole out a little bit just so I can get my hand on this and grip it as I'm tightening it. So I usually slide that out just a little bit there. And then I take the pole, line it up with my base plate, screw it right on, and then once it gets tight and you can't turn it anymore, I usually like to grab the pole. That's why I extended it a little bit. I hold the base and I just kind of twist a little bit to get it on there nice and tight. All right, once that's on there, I'll lower the pole back down. There we go. And now the last part to assemble is our quick release head on top. Just threads right in, just like the bottom part did. It just screws right in there. Again, no tools needed. Get it tight, there we go. And then on this top part, just like the bottom, I usually like to lower the gimbal just a little bit and tighten it with my hands just to get a little bit more snug on there. All right, now we're in business. So now what you need to do is look and make sure that the quick release head and the base plates are aligned, and mine aren't quite aligned exactly right. So what you do, just loosen this knob again and look down until they're lined up, and then tighten your knob back. There we go. And then I'm gonna loosen this, bring it back up, kind of towards the top to where my starting point was. All right, it's assembled. Took 2, maybe 3 minutes. This is a very important part. At this point, you're going to want to have your camera set up exactly as it's going to be whenever you're going to be filming. So if you're going to be using whatever lens you're going to be using, if you're going to be using a lens hood, a UV filter, a mic, a light, obviously a battery and card, anything that's going to be in your camera when you're actually filming, put it all together right now because the weight of it matters when you're balancing it. I'll take my lens cap off because that's not going to be on when I'm filming. And I'll flip my lens hood around exactly as it's going to be when I am filming. Lock that in. All right, this is my setup. I've got my battery, my lens hood, the UV filter, my mic, my card, everything in there as it's going to be when I'm filming. The nice thing about the Devin Graham Signature Glidecam, as opposed to some of the older ones like the HD 2000 or 4000, this has a quick release head built in, and it comes with a different quick release, but it's just the standard Manfrotto black quick release that all my tripods have. So I can take this and move it to tripods, and it's the same quick release plate. But the nice thing is this has one built in. You just slide it right into place till it clicks, and then the knob here on the side you tighten. Now, sometimes the knob's in a weird spot and you can't tighten it because it hits the bottom of the camera, so you can pull it out and twist it around and then tighten as you go. Or if you need to, slide your camera back off, tighten it a little bit, and then try again. That happens sometimes. And tight. Just turn it till it gets tight. There we go. All right, so I'm tight on here. The next thing I'm gonna do is what I call the fall test. And now this is going to be a little bit different based on what camera you're using, what size it is, how many weights you have. But what we do is we hold the camera out in front of us, tilt it 90 degrees, let go, and see how long it takes it to fall. Now, depending on where your handle is, like let's say it's way down here, that's going to affect the fall test. And actually, yeah, now it's top heavy. If it was up higher, all the way up at the top, it's gonna fall really fast because there's more weight down at the bottom, lower center of gravity. This is going to be different for every camera setup and the number of weights you have. But what I do is I just try to find a good middle point. I like to use around 18 or 19. I think I'm using 19. And there's, on the side of your Glidecam, there's centimeter measures there, so you can keep track of what number works best for your setup. I like 19. You're gonna hold it out to the side, let go, 1, 2. And I like for it to take 2 to 3 counts for it to fall. And it's called the fall test, and you wanna do this and keep doing it and keep making adjustments with your weights, with your pole, until it goes 1, 2, just about like that. That's a good fall time for the weight of your camera and your setup. All right, once you have your fall time at about a count of 2 to 3, something like that, we're ready to actually do the balancing part. So what you'll do is you'll grab the handle, hold your camera out in front of you, let go, and see how it tilts. I'll hold it like this so you can see it. So I'm holding it out, letting go, and it's tilting forward and maybe a little bit to the left. It's not very balanced. So what I'm gonna do, since it's going forward, this knob here on the back is how you make micro adjustments. If you want it to pull the weight back so that it's not tipping forward anymore, turn it to the left. If you needed to push the weight forward, like if it was leaning back, you would twist this knob to the right. But I'm gonna pull it to the left. You do it a bunch. I go about 10 or 15 turns, since I know it's leaning pretty far forward. Then I'll pick it up again. Okay, there we go. We're getting there. It's pretty balanced. I've seen cameras that are very imbalanced. They're leaning way off to the left or the right. It's okay. Just make those adjustments. Just use these knobs and move it to the left or the right until you find your spot. So it's leaning a little bit left. I'm actually going to throw it way off. I'm going to twist it way over to the left just to show you what it looks like and show you how to fix it. All right, yeah, so there. So let's say your camera's leaning way to the left like this. What you do, this knob on the side, turn it clockwise to the right to push it to the right, or turn it to the left counterclockwise to push it to the left, whichever way it's leaning. Since it was leaning left, turning it right to push it over to the right. All right, still leaning a little bit, keep going. See how we're doing. There we go, we're getting there. Maybe a little bit more. Yep, that's pretty close. Some cameras have the option on the back to have a level, and if yours does, this is a good time to turn it on so that you can see how level it is. And as you do this, you'll see if it's red, if it's green. That'll give you an indication of how level your setup is. Mine's pretty close to being balanced right now. It says it's leaning back just a tad and maybe to the left just a little bit. So I'm gonna make up a couple more little adjustments. There we go. That's pretty balanced. So you'll just make all these little adjustments until you get your camera balanced. It might take you 10 or 15 minutes the first time just to kind of figure it all out. The first time I had a Glidecam, I think I spent a good couple months just kind of tweaking it and getting it all figured out. It was a HD 2000, and the first time I got one of these Devin Graham Signature DGS Glidecams, it did take me like 10 or 15 minutes to get it balanced the first time. This time, I got it balanced the other day in like 4 minutes, and so as you do it more and more, you'll figure it out and it'll become easier. All right, now that it's balanced, we're pretty much ready to go out and start filming. My only other tips for you, some people like to hold the handle in the rear as they're filming like this. I prefer to have it in front to lock my arm at pretty much a 90-degree angle like this. And then as I'm glide camming, I use my right hand to support the weight. My left hand, I just use like my middle finger, my thumb, just to kind of tap into place, keep the glide cam aligned, keep it balanced as I'm filming, just very light. I might not even touch it sometimes with my left hand and just use my right hand. But you'll figure it out as you go and just kind of get the feel for it. Just use your second hand to kind of guide it. The one thing I would say is don't grab it with your second hand, don't hold it tight because it's gonna give you shaky footage. Alright, so I hope this helped. If you followed along with the video, hopefully you were able to get your Glidecam balanced. And I actually have another video too that's going to give you a lot more tips, tricks, pointers, and a lot more insights on how to film with a Glidecam, some examples of things that I've shot, and some more explanations. So click that video somewhere here on the screen, check that out. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification icon to get notified when we post new videos. Thanks for watching.